welcome Simmi, welcome, and thanks again for doing this. And I'm super excited to have you here, and thanks for doing this. And there's so many things in my mind right now to what to ask you about. Like, you're into multiple things, multiple terminologies I could use, and your self-love, self-care, diving into the deep portals and whatnot. So probably you could start and explain us about who you are, what you do, and what's these terminologies about. Like, just help us understand what is it.
I'm really excited to dive into today's conversation and see where the energies take us. So I just want to introduce myself to the beautiful audience here.
Yes, absolutely.
Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. My name is Simmi, and I am a feminine embodiment guide, and I teach yoga, meditation, and I'm also a spiritual ascension coach. So I facilitate and offer support and help in people, those that are awakening from the matrix. Essentially.
Does it mean healing?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, okay.
Healing. So, in the journey of our own spiritual awakening to our own soul, our truth, it's a journey that is often extremely confusing and painful and very dark and lonely.
Absolutely.
And because I've gone through that journey within, it's allowed me to really have a lot of tools to support myself, such as breath work, yoga, meditation, understanding myself on a deeper level of how to navigate this reality, and also how to support other people connect to their own bodies, their own hearts, their own truth, and not feel so alone.
Absolutely. I mean, the few important points you touched, based upon, probably I want to revisit that part. Breath works and whatnot. I mean, I've probably also doing another session on breath work and the importance of breath work in healing and in that transformative process. So probably that would be a different session, but you could talk us, or at least help us understand about the energies, the self-love, self-care.
My own personal journey of self-love started quite a few years back, and something that I just want to share from the get-go is that for me, in the way that I experience self-love, it's not just about doing all of the nice things for us, like buying ourselves flowers and feeling good all the time. For me, self-love is also doing the uncomfortable things, such as speaking your truth when it feels uncomfortable, putting boundaries in place when it feels uncomfortable.
That's one of the points probably I'll touch base upon, like the boundaries thing.
So especially when we're embarking on this journey of self-love, which so many of us are disconnected from because of the way that we live in society. Our entire mainstream media is structured in a way that's designed to disconnect us from really finding beauty in who we are. And it's like, okay, well, you need to be this, and you need this thing, and you need this thing to feel worthy. And
it's the standards made by the society, and you tend to follow it.
All of these ridiculous standards. That's absolutely. As humans, we cannot live up to. It's not normal.
Absolutely.
So much of self-love for me, and the way that I experience it, is like removing those layers of who I've been told I need to be, and actually touching the heart of, this is who I am at the core of me, without this, without the makeup, without the masks, without the filters, without the walls. Who am I underneath? And can I fully love and accept myself there?
Absolutely.
Can I love my darkness just as much as I love my light? Can I love my sadness just as much as I love my joy? Because this is where we really get to come into that space of self-love. And self-love is not just rainbows and sunshine and like the life being
happy,
exactly
all the time,
life is great. It's like, no, life sucks a lot of the times. Life is dark. The human experience is complex.
So I think life is dark for everyone, and I always believe there's no person in the world who's happy, like 100% and it's not without a trauma.
Yeah.
Everyone has this, or everyone's actually going through a phase, but how you deal with it is important. How you take that smile, how you put it up with it.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Well, it's like, how do you show up when you can't control what's outside of you, but the only thing that you can control is how you choose to feel. Exactly, which is so important. Because that is all we have control over.
Absolutely. All right. So thanks for that. But how about, we talked about self-love, self-care.
Yeah.
What is the portal you talk about all the time? Like, what is that portal? Is it, how can I get an entry into that portal? Is it allowed for everyone, or is it limited to few people?
So the word portal, I think, can seem something really like airy fairy.
That's what I try to put it like, okay, as a normal user, is there a door? Is there a path?
Is there a door? Where's the key?
Yeah, is there an entry to it? So I just want to know.
In the way that I experience portals is we ultimately live in a energetic world. Everything in this everything on planet Earth is made of energy.
Yes,
right? So that's just covering the foundation, the groundwork of, yes, this is a fundamental truth that is backed up by science.
Yes.
It's not something we're making up.
Yes.
So if everything is energy, that means there are different dimensions to our experience. There are lower dimensions of experience, which are more dense, and then there are higher experiences, which is like enlightenment, consciousness expanding.
Yeah.
And the way that I like to see portals are different doors. Just like in our physical reality, we can walk into a grocery store, that's a door.
Yeah.
We can walk into a friend's house, it's a whole different energy, that's a different door.
Absolutely.
We ultimately have the power of which doors we want to walk through.
How do you do that?
So energetically, how we choose to walk through these energetic portals is, in my personal experience, a deep, intuitive coming home internally first. So really getting in touch with your emotions.
Okay.
That's step one, is getting in touch with your emotions.
Acknowledging them.
Not denying them. Not denying the sadness, the grief, the anger, but allowing space for all of them to exist. Which then what happens is that the more we are connected to our emotions, the more our sensorial body gets activated.
Absolutely, yeah. You touched a pretty good point there. Like, how we could actually acknowledge, because people feel emotions, but they try to suppress it. And, under that repression and suppression, they never, try to actually connect to themselves.
Yeah.
And that's where, people start going to that darker zone of depressions, anxiety, and whatnot. So
and this is where we'll start abusing substances, alcohol, sex, whatever it is that you want to use to escape. But
it's like an escape kind of
it's an escape. But once we actually start feeling our emotions, acknowledging our emotions, giving them permission to exist, the more our sensitive and sensorial body starts to become stronger. So which ultimately, when the emotions are moving and they're not held in your body, there's space in your emotional body to pick up on subtle energies.
Yeah, okay. I actually came across one of the podcasts where it says like how you feel pain in your body.
Yeah.
Like, let's say your hand is paining. So all your priority, your mind is focusing on your hand. But once that subsides, the energy would go somewhere else. You're feeling pain somewhere else. You're feeling pain somewhere else. It's same thing like with emotions, I believe, right?
Yes.
Just because you're overwhelmed with one particular emotion and you just focus on that, not thinking about other emotions that are actually flowing through.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's like, once we start acknowledging these emotions, letting them go, there's like all of this space in our awareness, in our physical body, emotional body, our energetic body.
Yeah.
And so because now our energetic body is more attuned, it's fine-tuned, it's sensitive, it can pick up on the subtle things. This is where we can start to really connect with the different portals or doorways of experiencing different realities, because we're no longer stuck in our the pain body. We're no longer stuck in our trauma body, which means that more doors are open and available for us to experience life in a more magical way.
Absolutely. Okay, amazing. So is there a way, let's say I've worked upon myself pretty hard, let's say, right? And someone who wants to do this and he's like super naive, but he knows the process of keeping his calm, keeping his cool. When we say like meditation, meditation is also a way to enter that portal. If I'm not wrong.
Yes, absolutely.
Could be. So there could be multiple ways, right? Like breath work, or use of a substance.
That's a very immediate.
So all these are different portals or different ways to enter the portal. I mean, depends on what gives you pleasure, or at least what you connect to is how your body reacts to it. Right? So whatever makes you happy in that particular zone, that could probably lead you to a portal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well, this is when we've gone beyond the pain body and into our joy body, into our pleasure body, like you said, what brings you joy, that joy guides you. Okay. That joy opens up doors because your heart is open. So if heart is one of the biggest portals, it's a portal between all of life. This is where we receive from, and this is where we also give from. And this is where the universe also opens up doors. And as long as we're centered in our heart, this is what feels really nourishing and loving and alive for me, where I can be myself, where I can be the most authentic me and live in my true
version of yourself,
of that version of myself.
Truest version of yourself.
That for me is where we like are accessing so many portals in a moment of time. And it's like life then becomes this beautiful journey of like magical synchronicities because your heart is guiding you, and heart is love. As long as love is guiding us, we can't go wrong.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're not thinking from here, if you're thinking from here, probably you're always right. Like sometimes they say like if you think from heart, like things go well. But sometimes there's also in relationships, especially, it might go wrong because you might not be able to. So that actually leads to my other question. You talk about giving love and taking love, but in today's generation, people are just at the receiving end and no one wants to give. So that empathy, that care is missing for some reason. And could be anything. Could be from a kid who's actually spending more time on the phone and tablets, not connecting to his parents, his siblings and whatnot, to a grown-up people. So do you also think the way people have changed or have a changed mindset, could also be related to how generations are changing, like over generation, and now this generation particularly trend is on the social media, like people show that they're super happy and everything on social media, but at the end everyone's having their own battles, they're fighting their own battles, struggling and everything. So what's like, I mean, why to portray when you're not actually happy and people don't actually ask for help? So how do you want to?
This is a great question. There's so many different layers to this question.
I mean, it's like multiple paths, multiple arrays, and you could just pick a path and you can just talk about it.
I think, I want to touch just based on first. I think you mentioned, why is there this sense of people just want to take love and not give. And I think this is because as a society, we are so disconnected from our own hearts. We're so disconnected from love. We're so disconnected from empathy, from connection. I mean, given the past 3 years of what the entire world has gone through within the pandemic, there has been a mass disconnection of heart space, of like authentic connection. And so that brings people into that space of loneliness and feeling like the entire world is against them, and that it's not safe to open their heart. And I think, at least for me, within my personal journey in the past 3 years, I've done a lot of unlearning about what love is.
Yeah.
And then like relearning on my own of this is what safe love feels like.
Yeah.
And
how does that it feel like? If
it
I have to ask?
feels if it feels like a well, like an internal ecosystem within self and with God.
Yeah. That's
So-
spirituality. I mean, you're connected.
Yeah,
somehow.
it's no longer like I need you to validate me and I need you to give me love in order for me to feel loved,
Absolutely.
but more of like I'm so connected to my own inner child and I nurture her and I provide for her and I listen to her and I spend time with her, and as long as she feels loved, that little 5-year-old girl in me that just wants to be like, hey, do I matter? Is there somebody that loves me? As long as she feels loved and she's taken care of, then the quote-unquote adult me who needs to function in life can function from that space of I'm worthy within. I'm whole and fulfilled within. And from this space, because I feel safe within,
Absolutely.
I can open my heart and allow myself to share this love with others.
And you don't need to have validation or someone validating you. I mean, you don't need, or you don't look for validations. You're just happy and do not care. I'm just saying this because I've been through that process, similar process.
Yeah.
And I'm loving it. I'm like,
Yeah. It's not easy.
It's not easy, but once you're there, it's like pretty beautiful.
Yeah. I think the entire planet is going through this like
Yeah.
massive healing of our inner child.
It's like,
You know, it's like just remembering that innocence and that purity and that play and that connection. That's just so innocent and pure. And I think this is where like it's also going to help. You know, the way that I see is like there are so many adults, but they're just children trapped in adult bodies.
Yes. Like it's funny. Like one of the festivals we attended, like I did literally say this to a guy that he's one of my nicest friends, and he's like I told him, bro, like you tend to be super hard on the surface.
Yeah.
But don't let your inner child, that inner you lose, like, because that's so important.
Yeah.
And I was lucky, or at least I was glad to see that inner child and how beautiful it is. Like people just, mask up or layer up and try to put that skeleton over that, it's like a strong face, strong masculine presence or a feminine presence. Even like now there's a fight to say, gender equality and whatnot, but towards that, they're actually losing that feminine touch just, to fight for it. But, somewhere you're also losing that inner child.
Yeah.
So that probably is like, people are missing that aspect of it.
Yeah, which is, I mean, again, it's like we do live in a society. In a world that
back to
it's all
it's
at the
circle,
same
it's
the
fine.
same root. It wants us to feel disconnected from our inner masculine and our inner masculine. I love what you just shared, that story of staying connected to that essence, because there's a lot of talks of like the future is feminine, and as beautiful as that sounds to me, like having really actually grounded deep into what is the future. For me, the future is union. The future is the masculine and the healthy, strong, solar sun masculine, and then the intuitive, wild, deep ocean feminine with her power coming together. Coming together in their full power to lead the future from the heart space. It's not the feminine or the masculine. We need one another.
Yes, absolutely.
We need one another externally, but also like these are energies that exist within us. And if there's a balance internally, that balance is going to ripple out onto the planet, which is why our planet is in chaos.
Yes, it's tearing apart. But the point you mentioned, like, I'm actually on a spiritual journey. I've had many beautiful experiences thanks to the breath work I've started and meditation and everything. So I'm more connected to Lord Shiva. And since Lord Shiva, you talked about different energies, Lord Shiva is a perfect embodiment of masculine and feminine together, and that's how the world or the universe is built. Like it's both the energies. It's so beautiful when I actually read about it, or learn more and more about it. It takes me more deeper.
And the more we learn, the more I'm like, I know nothing.
I know nothing. It's like, we are just, as they say, right? The earth looks just like a dot from the top of, from anywhere, like in the universe. So it's like that. The knowledge, like once you start something, it's just this much, and it's a rabbit hole. It's a rabbit. So much to unravel, so much to go through, and then it's like so much to learn.
It's a beautiful process of learning, and it's like remembering. I think for me, it's also like remembering. This learning is like it's a deep remembering of. This is who I actually am. This is my power.
It's like a reminder.
It's a reminder. It's like, I just, I literally forgot for a second that I'm God. Just kidding. I remember.
Absolutely.
We are. We're gods with amnesia.
We're more powerful than we think. And recently, again, thanks to the breathwork, I've realized, how powerful you actually are. But you always underestimate just because, I'm going back to the same spiral, how society puts you, right? Because you're again limiting yourself based upon what others would think, based upon your company, based on what sort of friends you have, and what would they think about you, what would they perceive, and you're limiting yourself based upon others' judgment and validation. And you never grow out your own potential. Could be anything, could be, whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to achieve, or just stay happy. So even just to stay happy, you're just also seeking others' validation that is this good? But why do you need that? Like sometimes,
I think so many of us seek that validation because, as children, we never got it. Like a lot of, I can't speak for a lot of people, but I can speak for myself within my own experience of growing up. It's like there was never that presence of like the mother and the father there to guide you and be like, hey, you're enough, you can do anything you want in the world, all of your dreams are possible. When you don't have that and you've been taught the opposite of this is not accessible to you, here's scarcity, here's poverty, here's lack, that's where you grow up, and that belief system, it gets encrypted into your mind.
You grow with it.
You grow with it. It's like the hard wiring of the reality that you believe to be true, and unwiring that. Even as adults, this is where we unconsciously then seek validation of, is this enough? But it's like, then we get to, start unlearning that and being like, nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. Like in reality.
Absolutely, nobody knows where it's going, like what's happening in life. But you're asking a person who probably is not even aware of what is right and wrong for you. And you're seeking validation from someone who's still figuring it out, and probably he or she is seeking out validation from someone else. It's a
cycle. And it's like we get to break that cycle. We get to sit in front of the mirror and be like, hey, I validate you. You're enough. Your dreams are possible. Absolutely. Whatever you want to do, I'm going to fucking support you.
Who you are, the way you are. So it's funny, I just had this conversation with my dad. Like, I'm again actually saying this on camera. It's okay because I again don't care about who thinks what. So literally I told my dad, it's not necessarily that, whatever you probably see or have done is also right for your children. So it's also in Bhagavad Gita. I'm an ardent follower of Bhagavad Gita. So the 3 points that it says, first thing, parents should let the kid do, at least take that path. It's good that you're guiding them. Like, be a guide. Like the second point says, be a guide, but don't share the same experience or let them walk on the same path as you walked, because it's not always right that the same paths still exist, right? And the same experience or the same solutions you have provided during your time would still hold good at this time, because the generations are changing, the problems are changing, and so are the solutions. So you cannot ask them to do the same thing. And the second thing is like, let them take risks.
Yeah.
I mean, be a guide. Like, be a guide. Just say them, okay, you know, I've gone through this, and it's good for you to know.
Yeah.
But if you have to only do this, then you're just limiting his potential of where he or she wants to go. And third thing, as Bhagavad Gita says, don't be overprotective. You know, just let them be free. So I'm saying this because Indian parents are more protective. Indian, Bangladesh. I'm like pointing to the entire South Asia.
Yes, I deeply know and feel.
Pakistan is like more and more protective, but just let them be free.
Yeah.
Try, like, you know, I told him that, you know, I'm on a journey. Let me try it. If I fail, I'm still happy, because if I don't try at all, I'll be regretting it for the rest of my life, and I don't want to do that. So, you know, let me try, let me do it, and it's okay if I fail. Like, I have nothing to lose. And like, I told him, it's like, no, he just realized, like, no, you do what you
so
feel like.
beautiful.
Like,
okay.
yeah,
I just want to say
emotional.
thank you for sharing that. You have the capacity to have this vulnerable conversation with your date.
Yeah. I think sometimes, you know, you just have to take that step.
Yeah.
Because we've always been taught as kids, like, you know, you cannot say back to your parents, or your parents are always right. As I mentioned, the quote from Bhagavad Gita, or at least the message from Bhagavad Gita, it's not that your parents are always right. And I say the same thing to my younger generation, or my friends who are younger to me, that, you know, it's not necessarily that the person who is elder to you is always right.
Absolutely.
You know, experience changes and everything. I feel, okay, I'll give you a best example.
Yes.
Social media, like Instagram, Snapchat, I have no idea what else there, like TikTok and all. I feel so old. And like, the younger generation, they're like teaching me, like, okay, you should go here, you do this. I'm like, yeah. So it's not that if I tell them that, you know, you do this, they're like, this is so old school. So I am learning from them. So it's not always one directional, it's bi-directional. So not necessarily that if you're elder, you're always right. So you don't have to put thoughts, let them do it. So, maybe just be a support. Be that support, you know. Person needs that support, self-care, love. I mean, everything. Just provide that love to them. They're already, you know, probably in that path of self-care and love, but they also need that external love. So as parents, sometimes it just happens that, you know, as we grow older, there's a disconnect between parents and children. That's where it belongs, because the ideology change. And I'm glad I'm still, you know, I can have that conversation with my parents and everything. I'm still connected, because I'm strong with my roots. I'm more connected, but, you know, in that way, I never had that, like, even if I had that ideology differences, I try to speak and clear them
into
out.
it and
like,
use your voice as well. I think this is thank you for sharing that.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it's really inspiring, because I think it's important, because you know, as a woman of color, as an Indian woman, it's something that, of course, I've experienced a lot on my path as well, of, you know, parents being like, this is the way, and this is the only way.
This is the only way.
And I'm a rebel, so I'm like, if you tell me this is the only way, I'm gonna go the complete opposite way.
I mean, sometimes it's just that you take a wrong direction just because you want to just, you know, say that, you know, I could find my own path, but that path could be a different path, but just because of that pressure, that
pressure, what it does is it binds your soul. And that, like, something that I've really been consciously working on is also understanding and like bringing more awareness into how my parents function, and like we talk about how conditioned we are, you and I are, and we're relatively the newer generation. We're new here on earth compared to our parents. And so I think about how deep their roots are within their conditioning. And I think about how challenging it's been for me to heal and remove all of this. So I'm like, holy shit, I can only imagine how difficult it is for them to like uproot their entire life, all they've known. And so I've been really allowing myself to go into this space of really seeing life from their perspective, and for them it's like life was survival. It was, how can I put food on the table for my kids, how can I put a roof over these kids' head. It wasn't like I want to be in pleasure, I want to build my dream life. For them it was like 16-hour days working jobs that are grueling, excruciating.
I still see people doing that, like parents, especially immigrants who want to support their family. But I still like the ideology what Canadians, North Americans do. They live in the moment. They just spend the money just for whatever
it is. Absolutely. And
and not saving for the generations and like generations after. And at the end, the kids are fighting for the money and like, okay, it's my money. Why? What the fuck? You just
be in the present.
Be in the present. Let your kids
live in the now.
And let your kids earn on themselves, right? And that's what Canadians, North Americans do. I mean, they enjoy that. But in India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, if I have to say, they work so hard to save, but they're not actually living. And
100%.
40, 50, 60 years and they're already tired, they're on, they've never traveled, they've never seen the world. Their world is just their family and
their work. That's it.
I was coming there. Family and work, that's it.
And it's in time to that, it's like I've seen my family as that of like, we need to save, and I'm like, what are we saving for, the apocalypse?
I think that's what I could still resonate with you because it's still the same.
But it's like, this is where like you said, the conversations that you're having with your dad. It's like, this is where we get to bring this new awareness.
So if I have to add like to that conversation, I said not necessarily that it's being followed. Your great grandfathers did it, your grandfather did it, your father did it, you did it. I want to be the change. I want to be the change.
You get to be the cycle breaker.
So it might sound funny to you that, but I want to be the change. So that whatever it is, like how I would say, how funny this ideology is that if you have a disease or let's say some trauma, and you're okay with it, like, okay, my dad had it and I would have it. So it's, people stop taking care of themselves.
It's like blind acceptance.
Yes, for example, diabetes, right? So they're like, oh, it's in our family history and I know that I will have it. So as I cannot control, because even if I control, I'll have it. But they go wild on it, like, okay, having sugar, sweets and all. And my dad is doing the same, like, oh, anyways, I'll have it. I'm like, why? You have to start taking care of yourself. Like,
you get to change. Which is by like habit of changing your lifestyle, your mentality around it.
That's the key. That's the key. I feel, as long as you don't upgrade yourself, it's like our body is like a software or like a computer, and this is a software. If you don't keep upgrading your software, it's like old body and old software. You're just there. It's stagnant.
It just plays the same stories, the same thoughts, the same experiences.
It's like 2023, you're still using, DOS. Or you're probably Windows or something, older version, and you're like still doing a process which takes days to compute. So
the upgrade takes a lot of time. And this is something actually I've been like introducing into my mom's life of like, I started doing this instead of trying to convince her that there's an alternative path. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to walk the path. And then you're going to see how happy I am, how connected I am, how at peace I am. And I know that energy is going to affect you more than me sitting here and lecturing you. Because for parents, it's like, you cannot penetrate them with words.
Yeah,
you can't.
It's funny, like we're talking or we're having the same experiences, because my first podcast I had with very famous kind of an influencer, and he talked about the same thing. Like his mom, he wants his mom to change, but like obviously Indian parents, they don't want to do it if you say. But I'm glad my mom does. So thank you again. But like he did say the same thing, that he actually had to take that path, show his progress to his mom, and then she saw him change, and that's why she started doing it. And it's like Indian parents need
we get to lead by example. That's the thing. I stopped doing that, because for a very long time I was like, I'm woke, I see things, and I'm like, it used to frustrate me. I'm like, how can you not see we're in the Matrix? Wake up! And my family's like, you're delusional, you need help. They think I'm a lunatic, I'm crazy, and I'm like talking about spirits and this and that and manifestation, and they're like, go to work, go to your 9 to 5 and live a normal human life. And I'm like, that's not what I'm here to do. And so much of it is like,
so much connect with you. It's
like, I tried to convince them of this other way, and I was like, you're not woke. And then I was like, actually, the more that I'm trying to convince you, the more I'm getting off of my own path.
Yes.
So the only way that I can invite you into this reality that I know exists, because I'm aware, because I'm conscious, is that I can just bring more love to where you are on your journey, and continue to show you by living my life in such harmony with my dreams, and like actually living my dreams, so you can see living proof. Instead of like the amount of times my mom and my sister have been like, you can't just manifest money, like just get a 9 to 5, stop this, like your dreams are not gonna get you anywhere. And I was like, no. They're gonna get me places, and I know it. You can't see it, but I can feel it. And instead of like getting angry, it was just like, I honor where you are on your path. And one day you will see that this path is available, but I must also stay anchored in like my own power, in my own knowing, in my own truth, and keep moving forward.
Sometimes it happens that you know the path, you're walking on it, but sometimes you try to pull others and you deviate it.
Exactly, it just pulls you off the path. It pulls you off the path,
and it's like, okay, do I start or go back to that? Or like, because you're losing track of it. And just because trying to explain people about it or trying to convince people, that's what that's what I understood. And it's okay, you just do you be you, and everything will follow.
Well, it's like trying to explain to somebody with blindfolds on what you're seeing. It's like they've never seen it, they can't see it, only you can. So all you can do is just keep walking forward, and when they are on their own ready to take the blindfold off and see life as it's meant to be seen, they will. But we can't. I was watching this video the other day, and it was like, the one thing about when life and God and the universe takes that blindfold off of your eyes is that you can never put it back on. Once you have awakened, you cannot go back to sleep. And the other thing is that you cannot take other people's blindfolds off, which is, it's torture.
That's what you try to do, and in that process you lose yourself. I mean, I've been in that path, so that's why I know, like, you try to take others' blindfolds off, but you're struggling. Like, you're literally struggling.
Well, this is why there's free will. People are going to wake up when they internally are ready to wake up. We can't interfere with people's spiritual awakenings and how they experience life. It's like, that's part of their soul contract, that's part of their soul journey. And the more we meddle in theirs, the more we just, like we talked about, we just get disconnected from our own. So it's like letting people be exactly where they are, using our voices to only empower and uplift, and using our hearts to only spread more love.
Absolutely. Like with that particular line, actually, I remember there's one beautiful song actually in Hindi, but I'll just translate it in English. It's like,
Which song is it?
I'll probably tell you.
Okay.
So it says, you know, one who's blindfolded, he's trying to explain how God looks like. So imagine it's like, you know, he's trying to explain which he's not even aware of. So same thing, they say, try to connect to your inner self, to, you know, the spiritual world, try to connect to the Almighty, or whoever you pray, or, you know, whoever you have in thoughts.
Yeah.
Try to connect to them, not to know them. So there's deeper, like, how you connect to them instead of not validating that, okay, he like this, is he, she, you know, is like this. Just trying to, people are more into knowing things of, you know, okay, how would this look like? No, just go by the flow, just, you know, trust. And it's so beautiful. I just, whenever I listen to the song, I'll share it with you.
Yeah, please do.
It's like so beautiful. It says, again, I'll repeat that, as like, you know, blind person is trying to explain how God looks like. And obviously it's yeah, it's same with the universe, same with the world.
Wow, that's beautiful. Like full body chills.
Full
body chills right now.
I could literally feel it,
Yeah. The portal is open.
The portal is open.
This is what I mean when I talk about portals.
Listening or watching this is what you mean.
This is what it means to be in the portal.
Yeah.
You're like in complete flow, surrender, trust, connection, openness.
All these terminologies, when everything combines, that's the portal.
There's like no resistance, there's no fear, there's only love.
Yeah. But I also would want to let everyone know who's watching or listening to this about the actual portal. When we say about the portal, right?
Yeah.
So meditation, breath work, and different techniques.
Yeah.
Like I've recently heard about ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca?
Sorry, my pronunciation. Yeah, ayahuasca. And then the weed or CBD or so different trips, different ways to enter that portal, and a different experience after you're in.
Yeah. Something I actually really want to touch base on is, and this is also like the way that I choose to live my life, because medicines like ayahuasca are extremely powerful medicines, and they're initiations. Yeah. They're initiations into the underworld. And, you know, even with just magic mushrooms or even weed, with anything that is enhancing our experience of life or is altering reality as we see it. Something that I really just love to invite people into is don't seek the medicine. The medicine will come.
Seek you.
Exactly. It will find you. Because these medicines are extremely life altering. And if we are not in a state, if we're not in an open state to really receive like how it's going to shake up our lives, it can leave us feeling really delusional and like disconnected even more. So just want to say to the audience, whoever's listening, let the medicine find you. Take your time to do your research, learn about it. And, you know, before I did my first mushroom trip, which was, I think, 7 years ago now, for 3 years, I just researched mushrooms. I listened to other people's journeys, their experiences, because I really wanted to prepare myself mentally and emotionally and make sure that I'm in the right mental state to take this journey, because you know bad trips are very common. If you're not in a good mental state and you go on this journey, it's gonna be fucking hell.
It's gonna be fucked up if in case you're stuck there.
It can lead to psychosis and like we don't want to go into that. Like these medicines are powerful and they're life transforming. So for me, I've always really taken my time and not like rush to anything that's coming. It's like, how is this going to affect my body? What do I want to call in? Because often with these medicine, there's a death that takes place, and we have to be ready for that ego death. We have to be ready to witness ourselves die and reemerge as something new. And creating mindful space for that is, I think, really nice and being really intentional.
And
you
also
know?
like a safe space
Yes.
to be in, like, and again, whoever is listening, like make sure to have a safe space.
Absolutely.
And someone who would actually take care of you at that particular instant.
Yeah.
It's not that you're alone and you go into a bad trip and you could hurt yourself. And like could be anything. So the point you mentioned, I like literally have learned, or at least listened to on a different podcast, that the medicine will come seek you. You don't have to go. So there was one experience from South America, and it was about ayahuasca. So I'm like, okay, this is something, you know, it's like more intriguing that, you know, like whatever my experience have been, it was just, it seeked me. Like,
so wait, did you go on an ayahuasca journey? Okay.
I'm scared. I'm actually reading
into
as
it?
well.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want to do it, and then, you know.
The thing specifically with ayahuasca is it's the mother of all medicines.
Yeah.
It is like one of the I have yet to embark on this journey. The medicine of Aya has been calling me deeply for many years. For many years. And I'm like, I've taken my time to lean into it, to understand her, to know what her initiation is. And I know that like in physical reality, she's gonna find me when my vessel is ready for that death and that transformation to take place.
I've also read that there are thousands of medicines, similar sort of medicines in South America, because it's a huge like in the Amazons you have huge variations of plants, and just even finding ayahuasca since many years, it's so amazing that, you know, within these thousands millions of species, they found this particular plant with a combination of this particular thing, and it's like,
it's mind-blowing. And it's like, this is where you get to...
and this could be dangerous, could have been anything. And like, this works well. Like, wow.
The way that nature communicates and the way that nature teaches us, it's like, it's profound. It's so profound. But yeah, I definitely, psychedelics have been such a big, huge part of my own spiritual awakening and me waking up, healing, so much healing.
Just because I'm saying this because I know so many people who like use this for healing, and I've seen those transformations. I've seen people, you know, different amazing versions of themselves. It's so deeply connected, and it's so positive to see, you know. I sometimes feel, you know, if this could be taken in a positive note, the world would heal.
I mean, this is exactly why it's illegal, because they don't want the world to heal.
It's
like, you're going to put alcohol on the market, and, you know, but when it comes to like magic mushrooms that's made in the earth, you're going to... That's illegal.
That's you block it, you know, you don't allow it to be used. Okay, going on that direction. Like, how do you think it could also be abused? This medicinal, even.
Oh yes. So much abuse within. Which is why when I personally initiate myself onto these journeys, I'm so intentional, and even in the way that I speak about it, even the way that I've been guiding my own one-on-one clients. It's been really interesting, especially the medicine of mushrooms. I work with that on my own, within my one-on-one container. So I guide like the women that are working with me through this journey, and it's been so transformational to share that intimate experience. But I've also seen, you know, the dark side of these medicines is that they are labeled as drugs, and people use it to escape. You know, because here's the thing, like, even let's say with magic mushrooms, the sense of euphoria, the sense of ecstasy, the sense of oneness, it's like such a profound feeling. And of course we want to stay there. It's addictive.
Yes.
It's addictive to stay there. Or even on, MDMA or LSD. I've done many. That experience, it's like soul shattering, heart opening. It's so open, and these experiences really allow you to like access and touch God. It allows you to access the infinite essence that you are made of. But it does it in a way where it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable at all. You're going into these deep experiences of feeling, the highest ecstasy that you've ever felt. And so the crash, the coming down,
that's the
the crash is when you're like, oh shit, I'm on a planet Earth, I'm human, I have a body, I have bills to pay, I got things to do.
Yeah, you come back to reality.
And you come back to reality, and that reality for a lot of people hits really hard. If the reality is not ideal, if the reality is a reality that they are already trying to escape from, so it becomes really easy to escape with these substances, which is why there's such a big like drug abuse and overuse and so much of it. But so this is for me where it's like integration is really important. Working with these medicines, it's like go on a journey, take 3 months to integrate, because that's where the work actually shows up. These medicines will show you what's available, but they will also show you parts of yourself that are difficult to look at. And so it's like when you come back, it's like you get to address those parts of yourself that need healing, that are desiring healing, that are desiring love, and integrate that love back, so that whatever you experienced on this high, you can experience here on normal life through breath work. You can do breath work and you can experience the same high. I have experienced this where I've been doing this specific breath work. It's a DMT breath work. You may Wim Hof, and there's they incorporate other
holotropic and different
types, and the experiences I've been able to have. I'm like, I don't even need MDMA.
You don't need that.
You don't.
I mean, there are different ways you could enter. Depends on what you prefer and how would you take it, because you don't want to overuse it and abuse that spectrum. So that's why I like the breath work. No chemicals, nothing. It's just your pure oxygen going in, and the process is beautiful. It's beautiful. And it's like I've seen so many things. It's so life changing, and that's why I try to help people out whoever needs help in that perspective. And I was like, it's funny again, like how these topics come to my mind. Like last podcast I did was talking about, like, the person asked me, how do you think it changed your life? And I feel, what do you feel overall? Like,
beautiful question.
I feel overall is amazing, like a different journey, but I feel more connection. So I feel like, I don't know if it's right or wrong, I could the sense of understanding or the sense of identifying has become more for me. If I feel someone is in pain or going through something, it's just I connect that way, or at least they come to me in some or the other way. It's like so much. I'm a strong believer in connection. I say it over and over. So many incidents happen that actually, like, I'm trying to help people that I met like random.
Well, they feel your energy, right?
That's what I feel. Like, that's what I feel and believe in, that you attract like someone's seeking and you're giving. So it's like a signal, like an antennas, right? So you're just expressing, emoting, and it just happens.
Also,
that's how you connect.
The stronger that your own connection becomes to yourself,
Absolutely.
which is your connection to source, those that are desiring that connection, they're naturally going to magnetize
feel
to you. It's like you're this light. And they're like, how do I access this light within? And it's because your light is also, you're leading your life from such a space of love. People feel that. They feel that safety.
There's the safety, the care. And I'm blessed. I feel blessed that I'm going through this phase, and when I hear lots about, like, we feel safe, we feel that container, the space, I felt like so good, so good. And thanks to you also, the way you're doing it, the way you're helping people. And it's so amazing. It's so amazing.
You.
And similar on that perspective, on that note, you talked about womb, like the sacred womb.
Yeah.
So what is it about, and is it, again, since it's womb, is it just feminine, or could it be masculine, or is it just limited to females doing this? I mean, I'll ask you the next question, but I want to hear.
Thank you for the question. This is a topic that I'm so passionate about. This is like my life's work. This
Probably
is something
that would be another podcast.
Yeah. That's going to be another podcast.
Okay.
We'll deep dive. But just to touch base on it, so the womb is the source of all creation. So all of humanity was birthed from a womb.
Yes.
That's the cosmic womb, right? When the Big Bang Theory happened, life came into existence. It came into existence from the womb space.
Yeah.
And on a biological level, yes, women, females in the physical body have a physical womb. This is the space where the seed of a child is planted, and we have the capacity to conceive life, a human being, onto the planet. But a big part of being in touch with this womb space is that it's also a source of creation, not just for human life, but for our dreams, our visions, our goals, or whatever it may be. All creation takes place in the womb.
It's a source of energy, all forms of energy.
Exactly. And what's really beautiful is that this is not only limited to woman or female. Yes, we have a physical womb, but all of us, regardless of our gender, are connected to an energetic womb source, which is the source that we originally came from. And we have access to that. So even men have, even though they may not have a physical womb, they have an energetic womb, which is the space where they plant the seeds of their desires, their dreams, their creations, what they want to bring out into the world and to life. And this is a really personal journey, of course, for each man. It's a personal journey for each human. But I think the more that men are connected to their emotional bodies, they're connected to their sensations, they're connected to their heart, they're connected to their sensorial and energetic body, the more they're going to feel that energetic pulse that is available for them, so that they can intentionally, tap into it and create on a larger scale and have a bigger impact in the world.
Okay.
It's a really powerful, and then when two powerful energies of the masculine and the feminine, when they come together in physical form, like this is where alchemy happens. You bring a conscious man and a conscious woman that's aware. They're two whole pillars in their own strength, in their own individual power, coming together, accessing the energetic womb, but also the physical womb. This is where worlds are birthed into place. And touching, one thing on this topic, I've been receiving a lot, and I've been doing a lot of research, and 2023 is the year of union. This is the year that we're going to be seeing a rise in high-level conscious souls coming into union with their sacred partnership.
Even with spirituality
exactly.
and everything
Because we're coming into that union within, so that manifestation is happening rapidly outside. So we're going to be seeing a lot of collective coming together of beautiful couples coming into form, because this is where the new earth paradigm that we're building is going to be birthed from. It's that sacred space of love. So it's a really exciting time.
I think we'll have this as another podcast.
A deep dive.
Yes, absolutely. It's so intriguing. I'm like, okay, I want to know more about it. And I wanted to ask more questions on that, but I'll just hold it off for now.
The womb is a portal. She's a portal.
Yes, because obviously everything originates from this. And
so we're gonna need a whole nother episode.
Absolutely. And all my questions are just pointing there now. I'll just hold it off for now. And I would again, thank you for this. But before going and before ending the session, I want to ask you two questions. So one is, first question, like what probably have changed one thing that have changed your perspective and the way you are now, and one thing you would like to change.
So one thing that has changed is this that, like, in regards to like
anything, could be anything, your emotional, your like
no as a byproduct of like
well, what changed, like one thing that actually changed your lifestyle, that changed your thinking, that could be anything, could be like use of a substance, use of or someone you met, could be something, could be anything.
I recently met somebody this past summer, my twin flame.
Okay.
And this journey cracked me wide open. It was like one of the deepest heartbreaks, but also like a heartbreak that took place from the inside, because in love, it's like anything that you see is a reflection of you. So it brought me into this space of really looking at all of the places that I was still seeking and desiring love outside. And it was like one of the most powerful, this person is a very clear mirror for my soul. And I see heartbreak as a gift, although it was painful, like heartbreak in general, it breaks all illusions. It shatters the illusions of the ego and like our attachments, and it like leaves you naked and raw and vulnerable to what the truth of your own soul is.
I'll tell you one thing. I mean, I didn't mean to extend this, but like there's a beautiful saying in Bhagavad Gita that at the end of the day, you're all by yourself. How deeply you're connected to yourself, how deeply you love yourself is what is important.
Absolutely.
Like, at the end of the day, you're seeking validations. Again, going back to the same point, you're seeking validations, you're trying to find love outside, but start from within. And you emanate that, you put it out there, and then you'll receive as well. But at least don't go seeking for it or expecting it to be received when you're not ready to give. It's so beautiful.
Thank you for that. So that has been something that has really pivoted my life in the past 9 months.
And the second question, like, what do you want to change? What do you want to change? What one thing do you want to change from now on? Probably, or at least you're planning to change for a long time but never have implemented.
I've been, because of this heartbreak, the healing that I've been moving through is healing my relationship to my own inner masculine. So the part of me that's really assertive and wants to do things and wants to move forward and like work on these really big dream projects, but that also require tiny little behind the scenes work that is not fun. So for me, the part of like what I'm changing is like really seeing the work that I'm doing behind the scenes, like the to-do list that I'm not like, wow, I'm so excited to spend 6 hours on my computer doing editing, that's not fun. But what I've changed, and this is, I would love to share with the audience, is that I shifted my mindset from this is what I need to do to this is how I get to serve God.
Okay.
So now, like, my to-do list in the morning, it's not a to-do list. It's like, this is how I'm going to serve God today. And then on the list, it's like, this allows me this deeper freedom of my masculine coming in and being like, I want to serve, I want to build, I want to show up and share my voice and share, the message that's coming through, and I see it as a gift.
Like, if I have to add to that, it's where you're leaving all those barriers of self-doubt, again, going back to what society have created, those barriers, and coming out of that shell, and you do you, you be you, and do what you like the most, instead of seeking validation. I'm just doing this.
I'm doing this, and
that's it.
Also like creating new pathways of I'm worthy of taking up this space. My voice is important. It deserves to be heard. Like, I don't need to be silenced, and any judgment that's arising, it's just judgment from within. Because nobody's actually sitting around there and being like, they have their own shit going on in their own life, and if somebody is judging, it's because of their own connection to self. So this liberation, I really hope that everybody can take that. Hey, you have one life. You have one life. You have one chance. If you want to live it, it's now or never. It's now or never. And that's the space that I'm really excited to step into, of just sharing who I came here to be on the planet, and knowing this is this is my dharma.
Yes.
Me being
yes.
me is the greatest gift I can give to the world.
People believe in karma, but I strongly believe in dharma. Like, this is like even Mahabharata happened because they wanted to stand for dharma. Dharma doesn't mean it's your religion or whatnot. Stand for what is right.
Yes.
Just simple. Stand for what is right.
What is right.
So do what you like. Do what you are most proud of. Most happy about, without seeking validations.
Yes. I want to end on this last thing. I saw this quote today and it was like, don't worry about who's listening or who's watching. Just focus your energy on the seeds that you're planting.
Absolutely.
And I think this is such a beautiful way of doing that. It's like you and I are just coming together to plant seeds of love, of inspiration, of connection. And regardless of who it reaches, how many it reaches, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So the reason, I've wanting to do so many things in life, but I've always, as I've mentioned, I've always been that self-doubt or like, why would people watch me? Why would people listen to me? But again, I'm just putting this out there, like whoever wants. Again, you talked about if someone needs that, they would seek it. So if someone's actually watching this or listening to it, probably they needed this and they needed to hear this. So so if in case you're listening, you probably needed this, and I hope it served you well. And I would like to thank you again for being such an amazing, taking us on an amazing journey, speaking your heart out and sharing so many amazing thoughts with us.
Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you for having me on here and allowing me to share my voice and my story.
My pleasure. I had an amazing time. And I'm pretty sure we'll connect again.
Oh yes.
Talk more on deeper topics, deeper dives into portals, or maybe a different so many
doors.
So many doors we could potentially unlock. So again, thank you, Simmi.
My pleasure. Thank you guys for being here.